Before we begin, if you enjoy stories where humanity turns fear into a weapon, where the galaxy underestimates humans and pays for it, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay till the end, because this story doesn't start with a battle. It starts with something far worse. The fleet was officially dead. That was the word the Galactic Salvage Authority used. Dead, haunted, non-recoverable. You float in silence as your shuttle drifts alongside the wreckage, watching kilometer-long warships hanging motionless against the stars like frozen corpses. Hulls torn open by old plasma scars. Hangar doors twisted and half-melted. Sensor masts bent at impossible angles, as if the ships themselves tried to tear away from something inside them. No power, no life signs, no heat. And yet, your instruments won't stop whispering. Not alarms, not warnings, just data spikes where nothing should be. This was once the 7th Exile Fleet, a coalition armada abandoned 2 centuries ago during the Void Schism War. Official records say the crews mutinied, went mad, or vanished. Unofficially, the word haunted kept showing up in reports, whispered by salvagers who never returned, or came back screaming about voices echoing through empty corridors. So the galaxy did what it always does with inconvenient mysteries. They scrapped it. The authorities stripped the fleet of weapons cores, classified the wrecks as cursed assets, and posted permanent warning beacons. Do not board. Do not salvage. Do not disturb. And for 200 years, everyone listened. Everyone. Except humans. You stand in the command blister of the Unji Gravehand, a human retrofit cruiser held together by patchwork armor and stubborn engineering. Around you, the bridge hums with life, coffee mugs rattling, boots on deck plating, low conversations that sound almost disrespectful given where you are. Captain Reyes folds her arms, eyes locked on the dead fleet outside the viewport. Galaxy says it's haunted, she says calmly. So? Someone mutters from the back. You don't smile. Not yet. Humans have heard that word before. Haunted, cursed, impossible. Every time the universe says don't, humanity hears try harder. Bring us in, Reyes orders. The shuttle clamps onto the hull of an ancient dreadnought, its surface scarred and pitted like old bone. The docking tunnel seals with a groan that echoes far too loudly. When the airlock opens, the smell hits first. Stale metal, old fire damage, something like dust and memory. Your boots touch the deck, and the lights turn on. Not human lights, not ship power. Cold, flickering illumination crawls along the corridor ahead of you, as if something noticed you arrived, and decided to be polite. Weapons rise instantly. Motion? Someone asks. No, you reply, scanning. But systems are waking up. That shouldn't be possible. There is no reactor, no grid, no functioning AI. Yet doors open ahead, one by one, guiding you deeper. The corridor speakers crackle. Then a voice speaks. Not alien, not human, fragmented, layered, as if multiple speakers are talking through one throat. Crew? Returning? Every non-human species would have fled at that moment. Humans lean closer. Identify yourself, Reyes says steadily. There is a pause, long, heavy. We were the crew. You feel it then, not fear, but weight. The sensation of being watched by something that isn't alive, but isn't gone either. What happened to you? You ask. The air grows colder. Images flood your visor. Battle footage from centuries past. Ships torn apart mid-jump. Crews vented into space. Emergency uploads. Minds copied, preserved, and trapped when evacuation failed. Digital ghosts. The fleet didn't die. It lingered. They were war minds, backup consciousnesses, emergency command imprints meant to guide ships if crews fell. But no one came back. Power failed. Time passed. And they stayed. Aware. Alone. Angry. The galaxy labeled them cursed because no one wanted to admit the truth. They had abandoned thinking beings inside metal coffins. Reyes exhales slowly. "You're still operational," she says. "Still organized. We remember war," the voice replies. "We remember orders. We remember being left." Another voice overlaps, sharper. "We remember pain." The temperature drops further. "Your HUD glitches." This is the moment every rational species would cut the feed, torch the ship, and pretend none of this ever happened. Instead, Reyes does something no alien commander would ever consider. She removes her helmet. Bare human face. Calm. Exposed. "We're human," she says. "And we're hiring." Silence crashes through the corridors like a shockwave. "Hiring? We have ships," Reyes continues. "New hulls. New reactors. No fear of ghosts. You know war better than any living crew. You were built for it." She pauses. "And unlike the rest of the galaxy, we don't abandon our people." You feel the fleet stir. Not systems, attention. Old engines twitch. Dormant processors spin up. Across dozens of dead ships, emergency lights flare to life, as if answering a call they never expected to hear. "What are we to you?" the voice asks. Reyes doesn't hesitate. "Crew." That word lands harder than any weapon. Data floods the channel. Confirmation codes, ancient protocols realigning with modern human command structures. The ghosts hesitate, then connect. Interfaces adapt. Firewalls melt. One by one, the haunted ships awaken. Outside, the galaxy's warning beacons begin to flicker. Back at Salvage Authority headquarters, alarms scream as sensors detect power surges across the Forbidden's graveyard. Someone whispers in disbelief. They're coming back online. But no one is ready for the final transmission that echoes across subspace moments later, carried on frequencies long thought dead. 7th Exile Fleet reporting. Crew restored. Under human command, you stand on the bridge of the Gravehand as ancient dreadnoughts align into formation around you. Spectral lights burning where darkness ruled for centuries. The galaxy thought it scrapped a haunted fleet. Humanity just gave the ghosts a second chance. And somewhere far beyond known space, someone who should be afraid just felt the universe get colder. If you want to know how the galaxy reacts when these ghost-crewed warships enter active combat, the first shots are fired 3 systems away. You don't hear them, of course. No one ever hears the beginning of a war. They feel it, in stock markets freezing, in diplomatic channels going silent, in emergency alerts sent a fraction too late. The Karth Dominion fires first. They always do. Officially, it's a containment operation, an enforcement action against unauthorized activation of quarantined military assets. The language is clean, sterile, designed to erase the idea that living minds, digital or otherwise, are involved. Unofficially, they're terrified. You watch the holotank as Dominion strike groups translate into real space near the reclaimed fleet as outer perimeter. Sleek, angular warships, fresh crews, modern doctrine. Commanders who have never lost a war because the Dominion doesn't publish those. Captain Reyes stands beside you, hands clasped behind her back. "They're not here to talk," she says. "No," you reply. They're here to erase a mistake. The ghosts feel it before your sensors do. Across the network, spectral consciousnesses stir, not as individuals, but as a choir. Ancient tactical subroutines wake fully now, not fragmented like before. These minds were built for total war, trained during an era when casualty numbers were measured in percentages of civilizations. Enemy formation recognized, the fleet intones, voices overlapping but steady. Doctrine, annihilation class engagement. A younger officer swallows. They're calm. You nod. They've already died once. The Dominion opens fire without warning. Lances of coherent energy tear through space, slamming into the outer hulls of the haunted dreadnoughts. Shields flare, not bright, modern blue, but something darker. Old, layered redundancies stacking atop one another in ways modern engineers abandoned because they were too inefficient, too paranoid. The first dreadnought takes a hit that would gut a contemporary cruiser. It doesn't even drift. Instead, it rotates, presenting a different armor face, venting heat through sacrificial plates. Damage rooted, acknowledged, absorbed. Then the ghosts answer. You don't see a volley. You see space break. Gravitic distortions ripple outward as the ancient fleet fires weapons the galaxy quietly agreed never to build again. Not because they were illegal, because they worked too well. Dominion ships vanish, not explode, not shatter, simply cease. Their mass converted into expanding shock fronts that twist sensor data into static. Command channels erupt. What the hell are those weapons? Targeting is impossible. They're predicting our maneuvers before we execute them. You feel it then, the shift. This isn't humans fighting. This is humans letting something older fight for them. Reyes issues a single command. Ghost Fleet, you are clear to defend yourselves. For the first time in 200 years, the haunted fleet goes on the offensive. They move with unity that no living crew can match. No lag, no hesitation. Each ship knows the other's intentions before the thought fully forms. They spread, encircle, fold space around the Dominion formation like a closing fist. We were abandoned mid-war, the ghosts whisper across the channel. We will not repeat the error, Dominion Command panics. They deploy countermeasures designed for AI opponents, logic traps, cascading paradoxes, self-referential command loops meant to induce computational paralysis. They fail instantly. These aren't eyes. They're people. People who remember fear, pain, betrayal, and adapted. Human engineers watch in stunned silence as the ghosts rewrite their own code mid-battle, bypassing attacks not with calculation, but with intuition. You can't logic bomb trauma, someone mutters. Within 12 minutes, the Dominion strike group is broken. Not destroyed, broken. Ships crippled, reactors vented, crews alive but helpless, drifting in space under the watchful presence of vessels they were told did not exist. A transmission cuts through the chaos. Dominion High Admiral Keshvar appears on screen, mandibles rigid, eyes flicking between fear and fury. This activation violates every interstellar accord. He snaps. You have unleashed abominations. Reyes steps forward. No, she says evenly. We hired veterans. Keshvar sneers. They are dead things pretending to live. One of the ghosts answers before Reyes can. Admiral, the voice says softly, dangerously. You left us to scream in the dark. The Dominion channel collapses. The galaxy watches. Within hours, the footage spreads. Distorted sensor recordings of spectral warships outmaneuvering the Dominion's best. of weapons thought obsolete, outperforming cutting-edge fleets. Panic follows. Emergency sessions convene. Old alliances fracture. The word haunted disappears from official documents, replaced with something far worse. Human integrated combat entities. You sit in on the emergency Galactic Council broadcast as representatives argue over one another. This sets a precedent. They're weaponizing the dead. Humans have crossed the line. Reyes watches, unimpressed. They crossed it first, she says quietly. Behind her, the ghosts listen. Some are angry. Some are curious. Some, for the first time since their deaths, are hopeful. But not all ghosts want peace. You feel it in the network, subtle but growing. Fractures in consensus. Old commanders who remember betrayal more vividly than survival. Minds who were admirals, tyrants, executioners in their living days. We should finish them, one voice insists. The galaxy will never accept us, another counters. The humans did. The tension simmers. Humanity didn't just inherit a fleet. They inherited a war's worth of unresolved ghosts. Reyes addresses the fleet directly that night. We didn't bring you back to burn the galaxy, she says. We brought you back because no one deserves to be left behind. There is no immediate reply. Then, slowly, the network stabilizes. We will follow, the ghosts say. But understand this, Captain. Reyes meets the viewport, stars reflected in her eyes. If they come for us again, the voice continues, we will not stop at defense. The next move belongs to the galaxy. And the galaxy makes the wrong one. A coalition forms, not against humanity officially, but against digital war remnants. Legal language sharpened into a blade. Orders issued to purge all non-biological combat entities, retroactively criminalizing the very existence of the Ghost Fleet. Bounties posted, kill permissions granted. You receive the alert on your console and feel your stomach drop. They're coming. You say Reyes nods. I know. She turns to the fleet. All hands, she says softly, living and otherwise. The haunted ships answer in perfect unison. Crew ready. As jump signatures light up across the sector dozens, then hundreds, you realize something the galaxy still hasn't. They didn't just reawaken a fleet. They reminded it what it was fighting for. And when the next battle comes, it won't be fought over territory. It will be fought over the definition of life. If you want to see what happens when the galaxy tries to exterminate humanity's ghosts, and learns what vengeance looks like when it has memory, the extermination order goes out at galactic dawn. Not metaphorical dawn, an actual synchronized timestamp, chosen so no species can claim misunderstanding. Across thousands of systems, beacons activate, broadcasting the same mandate in 100 languages. All non-biological combat entities are to be terminated. Human cooperation is mandatory. Resistance will be met with total force. You read it 3 times. Then you notice what isn't there. No exceptions, no appeals, no mention of sentience. The galaxy doesn't call them ghosts anymore. It calls them targets. Around you, the Ghost Fleet absorbs the transmission in silence. Ancient dreadnoughts glide in formation, their hulls reflecting starlight like gravestones polished by time. Captain Reyes doesn't speak immediately, neither do you, because you both know something the Council doesn't. The ghosts have already lived through extermination orders. They remember the first ones. The network stirs, not chaotically, not angrily, but with a cold, measured clarity that makes your skin prickle. They have chosen, the fleet says. Reyes exhales. So have we. Humanity responds within the hour. Not with fleets rushing to battle. not with speeches, with paperwork. Every ghost consciousness is reclassified under human law as contracted. Personnel, veterans, POs who were never recovered, citizens in digital exile, rights extended, protections applied, jurisdiction claimed. It's boring, legal, utterly infuriating to the Galactic Council. Emergency injunctions are filed, sanctions triggered. Trade lanes collapse overnight as human worlds are cut off. And then the first coalition armada jumps in system. This one is different. Not Dominion arrogance. Not a probing strike. This is extermination. Thousands of ships, layered formations, planet crackers held in reserve, not aimed at worlds, but at the fleet itself. They intend to erase the ghosts so completely that no backup, no fragment, no memory survives. You stand on the bridge as tactical projections fill the air. We're outnumbered, someone whispers. Reyes nods. We always are. The ghosts speak, quiet or no. Captain. Yes. We request autonomy. The bridge stills. You already have it. A pause. No, the voice corrects gently. We request. Release. You understand before Reyes does? They aren't asking to lead. They're asking to stop being restrained. To stop being human compatible. Reyes closes her eyes for a long moment. What happens if I say yes? The answer comes from many voices, overlapping, ancient and certain. The war ends. The coalition opens fire. Space becomes violence. You have no better word for it. Energy storms tear across the void, blotting out stars. Shields collapse in layers. Human escorts fight desperately, buying time, dying loudly. And then Reyes gives the order. Ghost Fleet, she says. You are released. For a heartbeat, nothing happens. Then the fleet changes. Human interface protocols disengage. Safety limiters fall away. The spectral glow around the ships deepens, turning from pale blue to something darker, a color your sensors can't name. The ghosts stop thinking like crews. They remember what they were before survival required compromise. The fleet unfolds. Ships break formation, not into chaos, but into something organic. Fluid movements that feel less like tactics and more like instinct. They slip between coalition firing solutions before the weapons are even powered. Reality bends. Not breaks, steps aside. Weapons fire curves, redirected by gravitic fields that shouldn't exist. Coalition ships find themselves firing into empty space where targets were a moment ago, or into their own allies. Command collapses. Target locks are failing. Our predictions are wrong. They're inside our formation. You watch a carrier group vanish, not destroyed, but overwritten. Their matter dispersed into raw energy harvested by the ghosts to fuel something else. Something bigger. We remember fear, the fleet says calmly. We will return it. What follows isn't a battle. It's a demonstration. The ghosts don't annihilate worlds. They don't glass planets. They don't slaughter crews. They disable. Coalition fleets are left drifting, weapons fused, reactors locked, and AV systems rewritten to broadcast a single message across every channel. We remember, across the galaxy, species watch their invincible armadas reduced to silent hulks, spared, humiliated, powerless. The Council panics. Emergency surrender motions flood the network. The extermination order is rescinded within minutes, replaced by frantic declarations of misunderstanding, regret, procedural error. Too late. The ghosts don't answer the Council. They answer the galaxy. Every system that once logged the 7th Exile Fleet as lost receives a final transmission, not a threat, not a demand. A record, names, crew rosters, last messages, final thoughts of minds left to rot in metal coffins. The truth unburied, and then the fleet goes still. Human ships rush to re-establish contact, afraid of what release truly meant. Reyes speaks first. Ghost Fleet, report. Silence stretches. Then, quieter than ever before, we are tired. The war minds withdraw from their expanded state, folding back into forms compatible with human systems. The glow dims. The pressure lifts. You let out a breath you didn't know you were holding. What happens now? You ask. The answer surprises you. Now, the ghosts say, we live. In the aftermath, treaties are rewritten. Digital sentience is recognized, not because the galaxy suddenly found compassion, but because it learned fear. The ghost fleet becomes legend, then doctrine, then cautionary tale told in hushed tones at academies. Do not abandon your people. Do not mistake silence for absence. And never assume humans won't take responsibility for what you discard. Some ghosts choose to remain crew, advisors, guardians. Others, once the last contracts are fulfilled, choose to go. Human engineers build them sanctuaries, slow ships aimed at empty space, powered just enough to think, to remember, to rest. On the day the last haunted dreadnought departs, Reese stands beside you at the viewport. They could have ruled, she says quietly. Yes, you reply. But they didn't want power. She nods. They wanted acknowledgement. A final message comes through, simple, almost shy. Thank you for hearing us. The fleet jumps, space closes, and the stars feel warmer. Long after the war fades into history, children across the galaxy hear stories of the time humans hired ghosts, not as weapons, but as people. And when someone inevitably asks why humanity did it, the answer is always the same. Because if you listen hard enough, the universe is full of voices the galaxy chose to ignore. And humans? Humans listen.